Welcome to the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast.
One of the stories from Three Things to Know today really sparked my mind and my heart, and I want to talk a little bit more about it.
What?
Can you guess which one, guys? Can you guess which one sparked me?
No, which one?
No, you're
Okay. The Swiss town, the small Swiss town where doctors have gotten together and they're offering art or museum prescriptions for patients that they see that just need a little pick-me-up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when people are feeling sad, not when they're sick and sneezing and full of germs and that could spread to people, but they're sending some patients who need pick-me-ups to museums and things like that to go see and experience art. And it's like, this has been studied a lot lately, and we're going to see more studies about the connection between art and mental health and how good it is for you to engage in the arts for your mental health.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I do have a question, though.
Yes.
You know, can you only get into these museums with a prescription?
Oh, no. No, no. I don't think you can even get in for free just because your doctor sent you. I think you still have to pay the cover.
I got a note from my doctor.
I guess it's not even called a cover. It's called
a copay.
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess it's not just museums there in that small town it is, but if it goes well and they feel like their patients actually do benefit from it, they're going to expand it to theater performances and dance performances and
symphonies.
name any and all of those things.
Oh, I think that is fantastic there. But you know why? Because when you're focused on something, it gets you out of the scroll. I'm convinced that the scroll...
So
the
bad for
screen
you.
is the thing that, has us all more distracted and stressed beyond what we even realize. You think that you're escaping into it, but you're really not. And live performance is one of those things where that's why I miss that our girls aren't in high school anymore, because, and it's not that I can't go to a theater now, but there's something about a live performance. Like, our youngest Phoebe was in a choral performance. And there were probably 75 students, I think, performing in this. Mm-hmm. And there's just no substitute for it. Live, in person, in the moment.
Knowing that they're doing it for you at that moment. And when they have a win, if they hit the note and it goes well, you're excited with them. It's a group mind thing. It's a group heart.
And this is college level stuff. So it is pristine. It's literally perfect. It's mind-blowing how good it sounds.
Well, it's being studied now a lot, about the connection between the two, mental health and the arts. And that means a lot of different things. And they even say it slows down cognitive decline. So it's something that for older patients and, people who live alone, it's not just get out and socialize. It's get out and experience the arts. Take a painting class, do something. And art can be anything. Art is everywhere, right? One of Phoebe's, a friend of ours, her name is Laura, Phoebe's boyfriend's mom. One of the first times we ever sat down and had dinner with them, we were just talking about our lives. And she said, art is my escape. Art is what I love to do. And it's true. Every time, when she has free time, she does things. She puts her hands in and on things. And when they came by our house at Christmas time, and I gave them like olive oil and vinegar for Christmas, like infused, and I was like, this is a good gift. And and I know they loved it. She gave us something she made.
Oh, cool.
They're little refrigerator magnets, and you'll have to help me where she got them off of album covers.
Yeah, she took them off of album covers, and it's strictly the record label logo.
Like Capitol Records.
Right,
oh, now that's cool.
Yeah. We have a bunch. Arista part of it, just anything you would ever see on an album. And she said, I'm sorry to cut up old albums, but she would go to old places and buy albums where the actual vinyl was scratched, but she was there to get the cover.
The artwork, yeah.
And she made me a folder. That's why I have a Tom Jones folder. I have a Tom Jones greatest hits. And
Sam's wondering, did they really still sell those?
No, it looks like a file folder.
Yeah, like a
and
manila
that's
folder.
why every time I carry that thing around, everybody's like, what is that? But that's her.
Yeah, she made me a Frank Sinatra one.
Yes.
Folder.
I didn't even know where you put that folder.
It's in my office.
Okay, good.
I'm using it. It's where I keep all of my Frank paraphernalia.
Okay. I love that in other words, what I'm saying is she does that not for gifting. She does it really for her mental health. And it's her escape.
Yes, it is. And now that you're saying this, I think what occurs to me is I tend to be a really left-brain, linear thinker type. And so that's why music is a great escape for me, because it's a right brain activity. You give the left side of your brain a chance to, breathe a little bit. That's why, I am glad that the arts is still part of school. I know over the years you've heard, about funding cuts and those kind of things, but to me, the kind of balance to be taught in school is the kind of balance you carry into your life later. It's so much more than just the academics. You know what I mean?
It needs to be.
Because life is a blend of those things.
Well, because you have to survive life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to survive algebra and you have to do certain things, but you have to get through life. And all of us have mental health challenges, some days more than others. During some periods of your life more than others, you need something to rely on to sort of self-soothe, something to do. Like for you, is it like photography, Sam?
Actually, I was just thinking of that. For me, it's cooking.
Oh, yes.
I mean, there are times where like you have a day and it's like, I got to get in the kitchen and do something.
Yes.
It could be, depending on the day, it could be something I know how to make without thinking. So I can just...
Yeah.
Or, hey, it's a new recipe. Let me go there for a while and get away from here.
Yeah, and I guess in a sense, you're creating art, really. It's of a different kind, right?
Double benefit.
Yeah.
Double benefit because you think get to eat.
Yeah.
My grandmother was exactly that way. And I know that my parents and my aunts and uncles would always want to go try to, help her in the kitchen, this, that. But there were times where that was her domain.
Yes.
That's what she wanted to do, and it was her escape. And if she had no idea what she was going to be doing, she would just cut up a few onions, throw some bacon in the pan, and see where it took her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's always my hope that the person who is the biggest caregiver in the family also enjoys cooking, because otherwise it's a chore.
Yeah.
You got to feed the family. You got to come up with something every day or however often. So at least if it's your domain and you like doing it, at least there's a benefit for you. And at the end of it, I made this for you. Here, this is. Yeah. Here's my art. Gobble it up. You know. That's always my hope.
Yeah. I think if my grandmother, we called her Heidi, was still alive today, because we actually did this in the radio fashion, when I was first getting into the business. I would take the microphone into the kitchen and she would talk about her recipes, because she was one of those that she would cook it, she would clip it, she would watch it on TV. She was all about it. She just was still always looking for fresh and new ideas. And it was really sweet when she started to explain that in a radio segment that we were doing. And she was 78 years old when she started doing that. And
you put that on the weekends, right?
Yeah, and it was on the weekends. And if podcasting had been around then, I think she would have been all around it.
Chef
she would
Heidi.
have loved to have shared.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do it, you engage in it for self-care reasons, for mental health reasons, and you don't even realize it. I'll tell you something that I used to do when I was a little girl, and when I did it, I didn't realize I was doing it to care for myself, but I was. And that is, I would go into my room and close my door, and I would do this often.
Listen to Rick Springfield?
Oh, that was later. That was not really self-care. That was just excitement. No, I would rearrange my furniture all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I would always, just because I wanted to. It was my own.
That was your domain.
It was my domain. I could control that.
Yeah.
I was not in control of a lot of things going on around me. And I didn't realize I was taking care of my mental health and my space and me in doing that. But it gave me a sense of control, and it was creative. You know, I would go into my room, I would close the door, I would lock the door, and I would move everything around and when I would move the furniture, then I would have to change the posters. Speaking of Rick, I would change the posters and things like that just to match them and make it work. Then I'd open my door later and my mom and dad would pass by and go, oh, you put your bed in the corner. Yes, it's different, I know, or the bed's back under the window.
Yeah.
But that was a form of self-care. And also, I guess, a nice little benefit of some interior design.
Yeah, that, and it creates a little sense of variety too. I don't know.
For me,
sometimes changing your environment like that just in general makes a healthy difference.
My favorite sort of arts and mental health story that I can tell you that this little story we did today in 3 Things to Know sparked me was years ago. I went to see a lady. I went to therapy for a few sessions, probably about 6 weeks. I think I saw her 6 times. There was something going on in my family, and I needed some clarity on it. And I walked into her office for my first appointment, and I sat down, and I looked to the left. She was sitting across from me at her little desk area, And I looked on the wall up to the left of her, and there was a coloring sheet out of a coloring book that someone had colored, and it was pretty, and it was on the wall. And I thought, well, this is a chance for me to ask her, that's obviously her child or a nephew or niece or something. I'm like, who did that? That's beautiful. That's cool. I thought, of course, I had to lead the conversation. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was asking her about herself. And she said, Jodi, that's a patient of mine. And I can't really tell you about her, but I encouraged her to do that because it's something that she needs to do, is be artistic and quiet. And so I was like, wow. So
Did you ever get the color?
No, I was never sent home with that exercise. I colored lots when I was little.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.